Welcome to Southern California Prep Insiders Football Podcast. Tommy Moore, Shotgun Spratling here, and Shotgun, it is playoffs round two.
Round two, exciting week. The second week is always more fun because the first week, especially in Division I, there can be some blowouts. Now it's time to get to the nitty-gritty. You got 8 teams left in each bracket. Now it's time for teams to really bear down and try to get that victory to move into the semifinals of the division.
And before we get to our picks from Divisions 1 through 5 next week, I'm putting this out there, Shotgun, sorry in advance. We're doing every single division next week.
I'm ready. I'm prepped for it.
We got 1 through 5 for this one. Before we get to that, we have our field reporters out there. We got Rancho Cucamonga, Yorba Linda, Culver City, all in order. Here they are.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. This week I headed over to Rancho Cucamonga because last week I actually went to the Rancho Cucamonga versus Vista game, first round of CIF playoffs, and what a game it was. Rancho Cucamonga ended up winning 42-40, but Vista was hanging on for a while there. I really didn't know which way it was going to go until the very end when Rancho Cucamonga ended up winning with the 2-point conversion that Vista just couldn't match. Today I ended up talking with one of Rancho's O-lineman, PJ Kafuzi. Let's take a look and see what he had to say about how his team performed last week. You guys started off this season very different from how you guys have been playing now. You started off 0-4. Then come the end of the regular season going 6-0. First round of playoffs, you ended up beating Vista Murrieta in overtime 42-40. Let's talk a little bit about that game. What was working for you guys, and what do you really think of your performance last week?
Oh, man, Vista Murrieta was definitely a tough game. We came out, we had a good week of practice, and we definitely showed up come Friday.
Who do you think really stood out to you in that game?
For our team, I believe our quarterback, CJ Stroud, showed up for us. He was leading us, made sure the O-line was good, made sure the offense was straight, and he definitely got things done for us.
Now, talking about this regular season, what sort of changed in the middle of this season that helped you guys just click and really made it so that you realized you guys all had to change?
Beginning of the season was definitely a struggle. We had a lot of injuries, and as everybody started to come back, we started to play more as a team. We started to get things together. We started to become more of a family.
Now it is your head coach, Mark Verdi's first year here as the head coach. He has been the assistant coach for the past 3 years or so, but here he is now as the head coach. What has it been like learning from someone like him as the new head coach?
Having Coach Verdi, it was definitely a big change. Moving up from assistant to head coach, he definitely got us better as a team. He made sure we were okay, made sure that we stuck together throughout the season.
Now it is your senior year. What are you looking forward to the most about playing in college next year?
I'm definitely looking forward to the competition. Just being that leader that I am right now in high school and transfer that over to college, making sure I just stay on my game and realize that it's definitely a bigger competition.
Now you have been playing here at Rancho for the past couple of years. What have been some memories that really just stand out to you?
Football has been something that has kept me closer to the team. I've definitely grown a lot of relationships, and just being that leader that I am on and off the field has helped me.
As we mentioned, senior year, what sort of legacy are you looking to leave here at Rancho when you go off to bigger and better things next year?
I just want to make sure I leave a mark on all the younger guys, everybody below me, especially the O-line. I want to make sure that everybody realizes that being a leader definitely helps, regardless of how things turn out, like us going 0-4 to start off the season. I'll make sure that everybody stays together as a team.
And you seem like you're doing a great job at that so far. Now, you guys are going off to play Corona Centennial this Friday night. What are you guys really working on to make sure that you're prepared for that team?
We're preparing for Corona Centennial just as much as we prepare for any other team. They do have a great defense, so it's a bigger challenge for us to step up this week. They have some guys over there, Drake Jackson, CV in them, so it's going to be a good competition, but we're looking forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to watching you guys. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So as PJ and I talked about, they're going off to play Corona Centennial this week, who is one of the top teams in the nation. I have Corona taking it one step further and going on to play Mater Dei the following week, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, every time I've gone out to watch Corona Centennial, they have performed outstanding, but Rancho has been doing really great the past couple of weeks. Now, unfortunately for the Southwestern League, all teams are out except for the very unlikely team of Temecula Valley, the team that no one thought would make it very far. They came in, have a new head coach now this year, and they have been doing outstanding. They finished off at an even 500. This week they're going off to play Santa Ana, so this might be the end of their career this season, but we'll see what happens with them. I'm going to go off to cover that game. Hopefully I can have another Southwestern team in the in playoffs this week. And then just one other team that I want to highlight, one other game that I want to highlight is the Upland versus Norco game coming up this Friday as well. I have Norco taking the game only because Upland has not been performing as well as they started off the season. Norco seems to be performing a lot better in playoffs and towards the end of their season this year, so we'll see how that finishes off. I'm going to just go ahead and give out some game balls from the game that I was at this past week, which was the Vista Rancho Cucamonga game. Now, Robert Coleman for Vista Murrieta did a great job. He really gave it his all. Luckily, he is a junior, so I will see him return next year. Hopefully, they take it even further next year. A couple guys that I wanted to shout out from Rancho were Mark Perry. He did a great job out there, and I actually got to talk to him this week after the game as well as for a top recruit, so keep an eye out for that. And then their quarterback, CJ Stroud, he did a great job out there, and the best part about it all was that after the game, he went out and he shook all of Vista Murrieta's hands. You know, he said he gave them some words of encouragement. So we always like to see that out there.
Round 1 of the CIF playoffs is officially over. 16 teams entered and 8 teams remain. Starting with the South Coast League teams, San Clemente defeated Murrieta Valley 49-26. Mission Viejo defeated Bishop Amat 24-7. Over in the Trinity League, Orange Lutheran fell to Corona Centennial 35-7. St. John Bosco shut out Serra 49-0. Mater Dei defeated Valencia 44-6. And I was over at the J. Serra Long Beach Poly matchup where the Lions allowed only 1 touchdown from the Jackrabbits and came away with a 42-9 victory. Running back Chris Street ran for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. You can watch my post-game interview with him on our Twitter at SC Prep Insider SS. Today I'm here at Yorba Linda High School where the Mustangs are preparing to face off against Corona Del Mar this Friday in the CIF Division 4 quarterfinals. Let's take a look. I'm here with Coach Jeff Bailey, head coach of Yorba Linda. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
So Yorba Linda is still a fairly new school, having opened only 8 years ago in 2010, and you were hired as the first varsity head coach. How has your experience been, and what do you have to say about how far the program has come since then?
Well, it's been fun. You know, just all the new things that go along with starting a new school, the battles and the kind of roller coaster ride that goes along with it. But it's been a lot of fun too. You know, we have a championship in 2016, which was exciting, and you know, it's just I think we've been a solid program in the county.
You guys had a close game against Chino Hills last week, but pulled through in the second half to secure the 28-21 victory. What do you have to say about the team's performance? I
thought they played very, very well. You know, we had a game where, you know, like the offensive line really performed well, and you know, they were really physical, and it really helped out, and you saw it in the fourth quarter.
What do you think makes Yorba Linda a special place?
Well, you know, good people. You know, everybody's willing to help. You know, it's I got a great staff. You know, the kids are great. I'm having the best time this year coaching, and they really work hard, and it's been an exciting year so far.
And last of all, how are you preparing to face Corona Del Mar this Friday?
It's a tremendous challenge. Corona Del Mar is a tremendous team. They obviously throw the ball very well, and their defense is one of the fastest defenses I've seen. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. But we're working hard. I think we have a great game plan, and the kids are responding very well. And you know, we'll show up and give them a game. Thank you so much, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much.
One, two, three, Mustangs!
CIF quarterfinals are this Friday. Some matchups to watch for are St. John Bosco at San Clemente, streaming live on Fox Sports Prep Zone at 7 p.m. Mater Dei at Mission Viejo, and it will be a battle between the Lions in the game of the week. Oaks Christian is at J. Serra on Fox Sports West at 7:30 p.m. Back to you, Tommy.
I'm here at Culver City High where the Centaurs have moved on to the second round of the Division 7 playoffs. They will face Milliken on Friday. Last week they annihilated Santa Barbara 55-7 right here on this very field. Earlier after practice I caught up with Kevin McGuire, a senior wide receiver for the Centaurs, and he discussed the game with me and also what this team needs to do to go out and win a Division 7 championship.
We're feeling great. We're feeling like we can actually win it this year.
You had 2 touchdowns in that game. It was an offensive explosion. Zevi threw for 7 touchdowns. Jamal had 3. You had 2. How are you able to be so successful in that one?
Practice. It starts with practice. Zevi, we'll be on the same page with Zevi, and everything just works fine in the game.
Zevi is a sophomore. He's putting up a lot of records this year. 7 in one game touchdowns was incredible. I know that was a new record for you guys, and it seems like he settled in really nicely. How impressed have you been with him?
I'm very impressed because he's so young, and after he makes a bad play, he has short-term memory and he just makes another play. So, it's very happy for him.
What's the preparation been like for Milliken?
Preparation, they run an offense similar to ours, so just the scout team going hard in practice. Just it's a mirror image of us, equal opponent. So it should be a good game.
Is there anything that you want to improve on, you want your team to improve on before this Week 2 playoff game?
Everything. Try to go over everything before the game. Most of all, be prepared before the game.
What's your relationship like with Coach Wright and the rest of the staff here?
Coach Wright, the rest of the staff, they're more than staff to us. They mean everything. They're more like father figures to us. So just to have them on our side is going to be plus for the playoffs.
Kevin, this year you've had the chance to play on Fox Sports West. You play for a high-powered offense, and it seems like there are a lot of highlights. What were some highlights that have stuck out to you this year?
Highlights, for me, when we were coming back, my post that online against Lawndale, it was on TV too. I think that kind of gave us the spark we needed to bring us back in the game, even though we came up short.
What are some of your favorite memories from your time here at Culver City?
I have so many. If I told you, it would just go down the list. But I have so many. I love it here.
Do you have one specific one that comes to mind?
Playoffs last year against Covina here, 3rd round. It was 4th down, and I just reached up for the ball and I caught it.
And the rest was history. This year, as we've said, the goal is to go out and win Division 7. What's it going to take to accomplish that goal?
Everything, team unity, focus, preparation, everything. All of those things will be big for us.
You've been committed to Idaho since we last talked back in August. What's your relationship like with the coaches there?
I love the coaches there. Coach Daly, Coach Petrino, all the coaches, Coach Mitchell. They all text me. They all talk to me, and just can't wait to get down there.
Kevin, my last question for you. How much fun has this year been?
It's been real fun. It came really fast, and I'm just living in the moment from now, and I just want to get this state championship.
That's Kevin McGuire, Culver City wide receiver. Kevin, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move on now to the game ball segment where I highlight some of the top players from the past week in the northern part of the southern section. I was fortunate enough to be at La Habra last week for that epic game between La Habra and Notre Dame Sherman Oaks. Notre Dame took the win 41-34 in the first round of the D2 playoffs, but it was back and forth, and it was one of those games where you just felt bad that someone had to lose. I have a game ball from a player on each team this week. So Mikel Broussard, he'll get things started, the defensive back and wide receiver at Notre Dame. He had a rushing touchdown, a pick six, a tackle for loss in this game. He was banged up, made his way back onto the field. He was a warrior, so I wanted to shout him out. His play did not go unnoticed. He was huge. And then at La Habra, Clark Phillips, he was the best player on the field for either team. He's a wide receiver and a defensive back. I know he took a trip to LSU after that tough loss, so hopefully that made him feel a little bit better being recruited by Ed Orgeron and the rest of those coaches. But he had 5 catches for 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. He played really well defensively as well. Like I said, the best player on the field in that one. So those are my game balls this week. As for my pick, let's go to Division 10 in the southern section. Give me Highland, the overall #1 team, against Simi Valley. I have Highland in that one. I think they're going to take care of business in D10. Tommy, back to you.
All right, Chalka, now it's time to get to the good stuff, the game picks. We will start in Division 5. First game we're going to talk about is Aquinas in Palos Verdes.
Aquinas is going to run away with this one too. Their defense has been stellar all season. They do it once again.
I'm going to go with Aquinas as well. 10-1 coming into this game. Pretty strong team. Next, Apple Valley and Glendora.
Apple Valley has been playing really well. They won last week 39-33. Glendora put up 56 points against Burbank. I think I'm going to take Glendora in this one. I like their offense right now.
I'll go the other way. I'm going to take Apple Valley. Jeff Widener, the best quarterback nobody's talking about, all the way out there in Apple Valley. Great player. Next, Antelope Valley and Lawndale.
I was at the Lawndale game. They easily won 35-0 against Dos Pueblos. Jordan Wilmore, their star running back, they barely even used it. He only ran maybe 10 times in the game. They used him as a slot receiver more. That's how dangerous this offense can be. I think Lawndale wins this one too.
Yeah, I would be a little concerned about him because when I was at the Culver City game, he did get hurt. That was about a month ago, and it seems like they've been using him less and less. Maybe they were just saving him. Not a bad idea to put him at slot receiver because there's a little less contact there, so let him, when he needs the carries, he gets them. I'm going to go with Lawndale too, and I will double down on this. They're going to be really hard to beat in this division because I think Jordan's going to get healthier and healthier and healthier every week, and you're going to start seeing him get the ball more and more and more. The final game, it is La Serna and St. Paul, the Swordsmen.
I think St. Paul, they scored 51 points last week. They won 51-0. I think they win easily again. I think they're destined for a matchup with Aquinas in the championship.
I'm going to take St. Paul as well. We had Connor Morissette go over there earlier this season. Good-looking squad out there for St. Paul. Next, Division 4. It is going to be the first game. Corona Del Mar, your favorite in this division, I believe, and Yorba Linda.
Yeah, Corona Del Mar, 49-14 win last week. I don't think anyone in this division is going to really challenge them until maybe the finals. When it's either Grace Brethren or Villa Park. I think they'll run through this one easily in the next week as well.
All right, they'll play the winner of this. It's either going to be Camarillo or Chaparral.
Yeah, I think Camarillo has been playing really well. They have an opportunity to get that matchup against Corona Del Mar, maybe upset somebody. So I'm going to go with Camarillo.
Yeah, coming off a 48-12 win over Rio Mesa, I'm going to go with Camarillo as well. Next, it is going to be Grace Brethren and Paramount.
Grace Brethren continues to get better and better as the season progresses, it seems like. I think they'll win this one pretty easily as well.
I'm going to agree with you. Grace Brethren's a team that I voted for a couple times to get in the top 10 in the Southern section, not just in this division, but in all divisions. So I'm going to ride with them, but I think they are on a crash course. But there's one team that's definitely going to step in their way. It's going to be the winner of this one. It's Saugus and Villa Park, and I think we're both going to pick the same team here as well.
Yeah, Villa Park stays undefeated last week with a 34-12 win. Saugus had to fight and battle against Bishop Diego 38-35. I think Villa Park wins this one. They've got some talented guys over there setting up a really good matchup with Grace Brethren with a lot of talent on the field from both sides.
Yeah, Villa Park's another team that I put in that top 10 a couple times. I don't think they ever cracked it officially for the community pulled together top 10, but I had them in there. So I think they're going to play Grace Brethren next week. That'll be a fantastic game. Moving on to D3, it is Cajon and Paraclete.
I love me some Jaden Daniels, and they put up 39 points last week. They'll put up at least 39 again this week. That offense is explosive. It's just the question is if they play enough defense to make it all the way through to the championship. I think they do this week. I don't think Paraclete has the weapons that some of the other teams may have. I think Cajon wins pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Cajon, again, the favorite in this bracket. I think they win this game as well. Next, Santiago and Capistrano Valley.
Capistrano Valley was a team that, we looked at, and they struggled a little bit going down the stretch, but winning last week, winning on the road 24-7, I think that helps them out, gets their confidence back. I think with Nathan Manning, when you have a star quarterback, you always have a chance, especially in the playoffs. I'm going to take Capistrano Valley.
I like Apple Valley. I think the road stops here. I'll go with Santiago in this one. Next, it is Sierra Canyon and Moore Park.
Moorpark has Drake London, who's one of my favorite recruits to watch this season. He was just a baller for Moorpark, but I don't think the Moorpark team is good enough to beat Sierra Canyon. I think Sierra Canyon gets this one.
Yeah, Moorpark's a team that I kept picking all year, and they kept kind of not winning, so I'm going to go with Sierra Canyon. This one, again, Drake London, great player, but it seems like teams do whatever they can to get him not catching the ball. So they've had trouble getting the ball in some games, and I think this will be another one of those games. I like Sierra Canyon. Next, it is Downey, at Citrus Hill.
Downey's coming off a 44-14 win, but Citrus Hill has been pretty dominant all season. I think that they're the class of the division outside of Cajon, so I'm taking Citrus Hill.
I'm going to go with the upset. I'll go with Downey. I like their 44-14 win last week over La Mirada.
Come on, they're only 6-5 now. Come on, Tommy.
All right, anyway, going on to Division 2. We're almost there. It is Rancho Verde and Alameda, a team that we'll talk about. I'll let you go first, and then we'll talk about it. I'll talk.
Yeah, Alameda is an upset I picked last week. Beating Cathedral. I think they're playing better and better. They're an offense that is explosive. They've got a lot of young guys. Any extra game they get this year is just going to help them in the future. Rancho Verde has been really good though this year, so I'm going to take Rancho Verde in this win.
Yeah, I saw Rancho Verde play Heritage, good team. Alameda, I didn't pick them last week because again I thought they were 1 year away, but they proved me wrong, and I'm not letting them prove me wrong twice. I'm going to go with I guess you call this the upset. the upset again, I will go with Alameda. Next, it is Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks, and Los Alamitos.
Yeah, I think this is a really good matchup. I thought that La Habra would win last week against Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame, but their rushing attack has been just tremendous for them. Los Alamitos won a close game with Westlake, 19-14. I think that this is going to be another really close matchup. This might be a last-minute type of thing, or if Sherman Oaks has the ball, them trying to pick up a first down and run out the clock. I'm going to go with Sherman Oaks. I think that they'll pick this up. Notre Dame, I think they get this win.
I'll go with Los Al. Westlake, a very, very good team. They shut them down 19-14, so I've got Los Al, but I agree with you. It's going to be a close game. Next, it is Norco and Upland.
Norco's playing much better. They're 9-2 now. They've been putting up a lot of points on the board with Shane Illingworth and freshman Jaden Knott. But Upland is a team that I love with so much talent. With Justin Flo is one of my favorite players to watch in this class as well. He just is flying all over the place at all times. And they won 17-16 over Heritage. Close game. They slowed down the rushing attack. I think they have an opportunity to stop that Norco offense as well. I'm going to take Upland in this one.
This is a tough one for me. I'm going to go with Norco in this one. I'm going to Norco. Against common opponents, pretty similar. I don't know. I feel like Upland should have beat Heritage by more. The 17-16 game scares me, so I'm going to go with Norco. Final game, it is San Juan Hills. Final game in Division 2, San Juan Hills and Calabasas.
Yeah, I've seen both of these teams this year. And, the San Juan Hills offense didn't really impress me, whereas the Calabasas has a lot more weapons. I'm going to go with the offensive weapons of Calabasas over Cade Albright, though, is the guy that can wreak enough havoc in the backfield for San Juan Hills to mess up things for Calabasas. So watch him, but I think that Calabasas ends up getting the win.
I'm going to go with Calabasas as well. I think they are probably the favorite in this division. They put up 49 points last week. I don't see any reason why they cannot do that again. This week, on to Division I shotgun, the big boys. We've got, for starters, Bosco and San Clemente. Can San Clemente pull up another miracle upset?
I don't think last week was a miracle upset.
No,
now,
I'm talking about 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Oh, beating Mission Viejo. They've been playing really well. We talked about it last week about how they've improved their play throughout the season, but they're playing the Bosco Braves, and the Bosco Braves ain't losing anybody this week. They're going to roll in this one. They'll probably win by at least 17 points as they go in. Really like what San Clemente's doing. Really like the way they're playing, but I don't think anybody can play with Bosco right now.
I just want to give some shout-outs to RJ Donaldson. I think had 4 touchdowns last week for San Clemente. Costello had a good game. He appears to be healthy. I know I was at the game, so I was texting you because you were asking me if he was going to play. He did play. He's going to play this week, I would assume. But, it's Bosco. It's a little bit, they're coming up against a little bit of a buzzsaw here. But, yeah, Bosco's on the collision course to get to the finals, and it's just the next step for them being San Clemente. Again, San Clemente, not taking what they did. Unbelievable second half of the season, but I'm going to go Bosco. Next, again, attending. It is
with Bosco. With Bosco, how about that defense this last week? They beat Sarah 49-0. They held a team that was averaging 300 yards through the air to 97 yards passing. That's pretty incredible. Their defense is legit. Their offense obviously can put up points with anybody. And they're going to face a running quarterback in Brendan Costello. Remember what they did against Bryce Young. They were able to get in the backfield, cause some disruption to the modern day offense. And I think Bryce Young's the top tier running quarterback, dual threat quarterback. I think he's a little bit better than Brendan Costello, even though he's a year younger. So I think that the San Clemente offense is going to have trouble getting going against that Bosco defense.
All right, next we've got a game that I'm really excited to see because I think these two teams match up really well against each other. Again, I will be there. It's going to be J. Sarah Catholic hosting Oaks Christian.
Yeah, J. Sarah coming off a 42-9 win over Long Beach Poly. They were up 35-0 at one point. They got a turnover in the first play. First play from scrimmage, and then they never looked back. They recovered 5 fumbles, 4 of them in the first half. Chris Street ran for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. J. Sarah has been really good this year. They're 9-2, but we don't give them enough credit because those 2 losses are to Mater Dei and Bosco, and those are the 2 teams we really talk about. But they were close in both of those games, or in the Bosco game as well. So, I think they'll win against Oaks Christian, who's undefeated. I just don't think Oaks Christian's playing great right now. They beat Chaminade 22-7, but they were only up 13-7 with 10 minutes to go. They've been playing a lot of these close games. I don't feel like they've really separated themselves when they've had opportunities recently. They've got to get Zach Charbonnet going, and if J. Sarah can slow him down, then I think that Oaks Christian's going to be in trouble. Especially Oaks Christian had 15 penalties for 135 yards. They've been beating themselves up as well as not getting things going completely on the offensive side. So I'm going to go with J. Sarah in this one.
I'll go Jay Sarah as well. I mean, again, this is a team that, by a lot of counts, is a top 10 team in the country, not just in Southern Section. So I'm going to go with the Lions. Next, we have Mater Dei and Mission Viejo. Can the 4-6, whatever the record ended up being after all the forfeits, Mission Viejo upset Mater Dei?
Yeah, Mater Dei at 9-2, Mission Viejo at 6-5. This is the forfeiture bowl, I guess. Where both these teams have had a forfeit wins on the field because of ineligible players. I think Mater Dei will win this, but Mission Viejo is a team that has kind of made their mark by beating Trinity League teams the last couple of years. So expect this to be a pretty good game, even though I think Mater Dei has more talent. That Mission Viejo team plays really well together. They beat Bishop Amat last week 24-7, but they were dealing with injuries, the flu bug, that guy's throwing up on the sideline. So their coach was really excited. Chad Johnson was just excited to get that win and get out of there. They held Amat to 247 yards of offense. Joey Yellen threw for 300 yards with 2 touchdowns. JoJo Forrest really coming on, 6 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. I think that Mission Viejo's playing better. They're playing well, down the stretch. But I think Mater Dei, I like Bryce Young too much. Jacoby Harper's coming off a monster game where he ran for 129 yards. So I think that the Mater Dei has Jacoby Harper, last week's stats, he actually had 4 touchdowns this past week. I just think that, the way their offense is going, I think they're going to be too much for Mission Viejo.
Yeah, even though Mission Viejo beat Bishop Amat last week, who technically beat Mater Dei.
Your favorite joke. It never gets old, does it?
Never gets old, and not for anybody. And I apologize, Mater Dei. It's not supposed to be a slight. But I'm going to go with Mater Dei as well. Jacoby Harper, again, I think is the most underrated kid in the Southern Section. So I'm going to go with the Monarchs. Final game. It is another one. This would be a heck of an upset if it happens. It would be Rancho Cucamonga and Centennial. Yeah,
Rancho Cucamonga has completely turned around their season from a very bad start. They beat Vista Murrieta 42-40 in overtime last week. They went for 2 after Mark Perry scored. Quentin Moten ran it in for the 2-point conversion. Vista scored, but they got their 2-point conversion stopped. The Cougars stopped Brock Berry short to earn that victory. A little bit of payback there. They lost a 5 overtime game to Vista Murrieta in 2015. So getting back to the victory there. Mark Perry was really good. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground. They've won 7 straight since starting 0-4. They're probably the hottest team that is not undefeated this season. I liked what Rancho Cucamonga has done, but they're not beating Centen. Centen, another blowout victory for them last week over Orange Lutheran. They won 35-7. They didn't just beat Orange Lutheran. They beat up Orange Lutheran as well. They knocked out Ryan Helinski. They knocked out JoJo Hawkins. Ethan Ray was also injured. So a team that was already without Kyle Ford, their best offensive weapon, lost 2 or 3 more offensive weapons. That's what the Centennial defense is doing. They're much more physical this year. Those 2 defensive ends, those bookend defensive ends, have been really good in Corey Foreman and Drake Jackson. And I just think the offense is just what it always is. They'll put up points on anybody, and I think they'll do it again against Rancho Cucamonga, probably like a 28 to 35-point win in this one.
Yeah, the only way that RC has a chance is I think if Centennial, which they won't, I promise they won't. If they are looking ahead that potential match of Mater Dei, that might be the only thing that might trip them up, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're a well-coached team. They are a machine, and I cannot wait to see them get a chance at the other teams that will be in the Final Four. So I'm going to go with Centennial. Shotgun, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I'm just excited about seeing this weekend's matchups and seeing how the brackets progress, because especially in that Division I bracket, now we got some really good matchups. A lot of blowouts early, but now some really good matchups this week. Should be some really good games.
All right, that is it. We'll see you next week when everyone's in the Final Four. We don't really call that, but whatever. I'm going to call it that. We'll see you next week. Until then, enjoy the football.